know.
Speaking of which, man, I mean, I brought up this topic to you. It's really been, I mean, I'm not the only one that's been kind of pointing this out. There's like, our friend Gila.
Yeah,
Jen,
sure, of course.
and also I think Ellie talks about this as well. Kabbalah Guru. A few people talk about it. I'm noticing like, and I was mentioning this to you when I was in Miami, and I was trying to kind of like, it was a little bit of a lament. I was telling you about the whole like, meals and events and things I'm going to, not just dating, just in general, talking to people. And you were saying how like I should make myself the shepherd and the leader, and that was your response to me. But what was the response to? The response was to me noticing, and I notice this everywhere, and it's even more kind of pronounced in the Jewish world, in the Orthodox Jewish world, where people are they think that we're back in 2019. Their consciousness is back to 2019. They are operating as if it's 2019 in every way possible, financially, spiritually, MO, whatever you want to call it. It's almost as if they literally didn't go through like something completely insane for the past 3 years. And when I was leaving, I left you the message today. I was likening it to, again, like Holocaust survivors who just wanted to forget. They wanted to forget. They came to America, and they just wanted to make money. And they did. They made a lot of money.
Can I dispute you a little bit?
Okay.
So Holocaust survivors, it's not about wanting to or not. They couldn't possibly forget.
Yeah.
But they didn't inform.
They didn't want to talk about it. That's what I'm saying.
They didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it was constantly present with them when their eyes are open during the day, when they close their eyes at night. It's never did they ever have the relief of forgetting. But the people that we, this generation, right? Yeah. They would just want to go back to sleep. They've been asleep their whole life, and they want to go back to sleep. Think about it. Think about when you don't want to wake up. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever, right? And somebody's nudging you to get up, and you went to sleep an hour ago. All right. This is actually something that happened to me today. Right. And you're like, please, God, just leave me alone. I just want to sleep. Just let me sleep. Just let me float away. Don't bother me with waking life. Yeah. Because it sucks. Waking life sucks.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to want to go back to sleep. Of course. Why wouldn't they? Don't ask the question, why are they going back to sleep? Ask the question, why would they want to stay awake? Why?
I mean, I don't know, man. Actually, what you're saying, meaning they want to stay in waking life as they knew it, which, I mean, whatever they want to stay in, to me, sucks. Being awake is great. You know what I mean?
I'm equating the life that they lived before as sleeping.
I understand.
Lived, everybody lived in their with their little horse blinders, right? They found their little tolerable type of existence with their little business and their little life and their little restaurants, right? And their little activities. And then it was greatly disrupted. And whatever greatly disrupted it was much worse. I mean, it wasn't enlightening. It wasn't wonderful. It was absolute horror, okay? And tragedy and suffering. So why would they want to stay in that? So they just want to go back to what was relatively better. We should ask the question, why would they want to stay awake? Why? It's not a good sale. It's not.
Why would they want to stay awake? Because well, first of all, if they were at all awake during the 2.5 years, they would see that there's something in the works that is going to disrupt whatever they think is their life, so to speak, and they did see that. I'm talking about people that like are you and I, they saw what was going on, so they see that the people who did this aren't done. So if they're not done, just let me for the folks at home. If they're not done, I know. I just felt like you were gonna.
No, I wasn't.
If they're not done with us, that means that it's time to be vigilant. Not only vigilant, it's just time to be like conscious and not so worried about your whatever it is that you were worried about in 2019 or in January 2020, because they're not done. And whatever it is that you're worried about, you may not even have half of it after these guys are through with you. You know, after they're through demolishing, what is it called? Controlled demolition of the economy, and I don't know, 401ks and debt ceiling and this and that and the other, CBDC, you know, central bank digital currency. After they're done doing this, demolishing all the banks or swallowing small banks and acquiring them for, you know, the big banks. And then people would say, well, how does this affect me? I mean, seriously? You know what I mean? Like literally, there's people that in the frum world ask me, Tzvi, everything you're saying is happening, but if I wake up tomorrow and a bank fails, how does this affect me? I say, well, it doesn't affect you the nanosecond that it happens, but what's going to happen is about a month later, it's going to affect the whole world. And I don't know, last I checked, you were part of it. Unless you're not part of it, unless you live underground in some sort of like parallel economy or parallel, I don't know what. Dude, I mean, like the frum world in 2008, Madoff alone, the Jewish world was destroyed. I'm not even talking about the collapse. I'm talking about just what Madoff did by himself. So like, come on, guys. And here they are talking about the same old, you know, with this shidduchim stuff and all the and people are talking about, you know, it's like, I mean, you see it more in Jewish dating because people are asking the same questions they were before. With the questions they should be asking is, you know, does the girl have functioning ovaries? Is the guy alive? And did he vax? That's the question everybody should be asking. Not what job does he have, not what law degree, not what doctor degree, not what this. Is he, you know, like this lady today told me, oh, you know, this girl is looking for, you know, a lot of the guys who are their life figured out. I'm like, life figured out? Who the hell has their life figured out in the year 2023? Do you know anybody who's got their life figured out? Frank, I'm literally asking a question.
I don't. I thought, first of all, I thought it was rhetorical because
No. It's a literal question. Like,
sure
do you know millionaires who have their lives figured out?
no, I don't know anybody who has their life figured out, but I know people who think that they have their basic income figured out.
Okay.
That's what she's talking about.
And these people can't even tie their shoes.
Okay, but they have the percept that they are perceived as having their stuff together, which is attractive to women. And that's it. Very simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I respond to some of the other stuff you said?
You can.
Or is that just like
You can.
Here's what happens to most people. They're like, you're telling me the Titanic that I'm on is sinking. Oh, well, I guess I might as well just play music as it goes down. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, even if I know, I'm aware that they're trying to do it again, I clearly can't stop it. So what am I going to do? Just go crazy, you know, and just like be scared and then die? I might as well just go back to whatever I find comforting and die. That's what people are like. They don't know what to do about it. Do you understand? And dude, I have some level of awareness of what's going on in the world, and I barely want to know about it. Do you understand? Like, what am I going to do? Okay, I have a protocol in case it's another ssRNA virus, and I have my rifles. I mean, what else am I going to do? I have to, you know, I can probably treat some other kind of virus that they release on the public if it's a single strand RNA. Okay, what if they do something else? I don't know. What if it's an EMP? I don't know. What if it's some kind of invasion? Okay, so I have to stay in my house and, you know, my freaking AR-15. Okay, and then hopefully I could find a way to find some food betwixt all the chaos that's occurring, if some kind of worst case scenario thing. That's not very exciting. Of course, somebody would want to go back to sleep to not be conscious of that. Like, what do we have to offer them? I don't understand. I'm looking at a difference.
I don't think it's can I just like say it quickly? I don't think it's a question of offer or we have to offer. It's a question of just, for me, it's not even about, what's called prepping, because what you're describing is essentially like everybody's got to be prepping and this and that. And the other.
No, I'm not this. No, let me explain.
Okay.
I'm describing like, it's like even those who are aware, our response is meager. It's pathetic.
It's true.
So what's the point? You understand what I'm saying? It's not like we have some prospect, like we have like, Genghis Khan's army waiting to come back and stuff. But, we just make a phone call and we got the cavalry coming in. That's not what we have. So why would we be excited about looking at certain doom?
I'm not excited about, I'm not even talking about certain doom, and I'm not talking about a response. I'm talking about just elevation of consciousness in preparation for actually Geulah, because this is all about the Geulah.
Okay,
So it seems to me, I'm looking around the Orthodox world, and this is something you and I have agreed on before, that majority of the Orthodox world, the Jewish world, does not have a Geulah consciousness. They do not. Forget about COVID and all this stuff. They're not there.
Yeah, I'll tell you why.
You would think that COVID would have gotten them there, but it
No.
didn't get them there.
No, I would think that COVID would actually push them further away. Why would COVID?
It got me closer. Am I a freak?
Yeah, we are kind of freaks, and I'm more sympathetic to normal people, because think about it. Geulah that we were promised, right? It was made to sound wonderful, right? And then when you really learn about it, you see it's not very wonderful, and also it's very vague, and you don't really know if it's happening, and you only really know if it happened after the fact. While it's happening, you can't see shit, you don't understand nothing. Okay, it just looks like, so basically people are looking at this and they're like, even those who have some kind of Geulah consciousness, or they had some hope for the Geulah, they're like, oh, another
Frank,
hold on a second. They're like,
yeah,
they're like, oh, another Holocaust. Okay, this time a worldwide plague. Everybody's dying, all my loved ones. Wonderful. Great. Lovely Geulah. Thank you so much for this Geulah. That's how people are reacting.
Frank,
why wouldn't they react that way?
Frank, can I say one thing though? The rabbis that I was listening to when I first became Torah observant Jew, when they spoke about Geulah, the sources that they would bring are what I call the scary sources. Yehezkel this, Zechariah this, not just Rabbi Mizrahi. So I always in my naivete thought that the majority of the people, let's say, at least in the what's called the yeshivish world, the black hat world, even in some circles in the modern Orthodox world, went through the system, know about these sources, right? And then they see what's going on in the world, and they say to themselves, well, this is one of the, it's not the only scenario that could play out, but it's one of the scenarios, because they see that, we're given a choice, right? If we don't do tshuva, or if we don't straighten up our act, then that's the scenarios that Hashem can bring. So for me, I was never sold this flowery story. I was always sold Zechariah 14 and Yehezkel 37. Meaning it doesn't have to happen that way, but in the event that it, it's like I was kind of prepared for it to maybe happen that way. Let's put it that way. So when COVID happened, I was like, Zechariah 14 and Yehezkel 37. Here we are.
Yeah, but that's not how most people were.
You understand what I mean?
That's how, look, because there's a variable, there's like several alternate pathways that the redemption can take, right? Obviously, the scary one is not going to be emphasized when it's taught to most people, right? Most people are introduced to this idea as children, okay? And that's what they remember, okay? And the rabbis don't really go out of their way to adultify that worldview, because they know how people are going to react to the adult, to the realistic, to the sober view of Geulah. Nobody's going to look forward to it. they're only going to dread it more. Okay. So again, Geulah doesn't sound great. Okay. Like the process, most people are like, if I have to go through that process, it's just better to die. And then be resurrected. Why would I want to go through this?
I have a friend
to this butcher shop. You know,
I have a friend who feels the way that we feel about all this rigmarole thing. And lately, he's not a political person at all. He grew up religious. He grew up like, in Flatbush, you want to say. He's not a political person at all. And lately, in the past maybe 2 or 3 months, he's been sending me stuff, like asking me questions about it. Middle East and Russia, and it's to a point where he's sending me stuff and he's just like, he'll go, I don't understand what they're waiting for. Just get this party started already. What is he talking about? Bombing Iran's underground things. I don't know. Whatever. Just like taking care of like all these evil entities, right? Basically, he's like, what? Why are they stalling World War III? Just get it over with, because he can't. He doesn't see any other way. He can't take whatever is going on in the world, just like we can't.
Look, well, here's the answer to him.
Yeah.
Your scenario is absolutely just to the guy. Your scenario is horrifying beyond imagination.
Yeah.
The agony, the loss of life, especially innocent life, even in Iran, most people have nothing to do with the Ayatollahs or the politics or the terrorism. Nothing. They don't even know about it. Most people live in little fucking villages, and they have a barbershop and they drink coffee outside. They don't know anything. They don't. You understand? So that would be absolutely horrifying. Okay. Most of the people the bad guys will still somehow find a way, like cockroaches, right, to survive the blasts. And the people who will suffer untold agony will be the regular people. Okay. So it doesn't have to happen that way. That's why we can't get this party started. He can't see any other alternative. Well, that doesn't mean there aren't other alternatives.
It doesn't have to happen that way, but it seems like there's just this like I hate to use this word, but pardon me for using it. It seems like all these entities are engaging in this very, very long foreplay, if you will. And it's, in Russian we say either do it or don't do it.
Well, listen, we don't really know.
Or is it just brinksmanship?
We don't really know what they are engaged in and why. That's when I say that this whole process is tragic and boring. That's the boring part. It's primarily really not having any real understanding about what they're doing. The headlines in the news at the polная хуйня. It's bullshit. Okay, it's insulting bullshit.
I mean, listen, Sderot is being bombed. The president of Iran did visit Damascus. We have visual confirmation of that. Whether or not Ukraine droned the Kremlin, I don't think that was the case. I think it looked like a firecracker or some kind of like false flag. And
there's 2 guys on the roof, by the way.
Yeah, something odd.
That did not look like a. Yeah, that.
What would happen if they even tried to drone the Kremlin? Putin would just like incinerate half Ukraine. So,
look, I believe that this is a very boring, pre-scripted theater performance that they're rolling out. It's so boring. Why? Because you have no idea what's actually going on, and I'm not stupid enough to believe what they're telling me. Okay, I know there's other stuff going on, and they don't want to share the interesting stuff, so it's boring. And all I see is boredom, and then I see tragedy, like the bombings in Sderot, right? That's tragic. Okay, it's not exciting at all. Okay, it's just tragic.
I mean, today there was like, they supposedly a whistleblower from the FBI came out, and 2 Republican senators sent, we have evidence that Biden did stuff as vice president that basically is criminal. It's
not going anywhere.
Nothing's going to happen.
Dude, it's all delay tactics. Everything. Look, this is all pre-planned. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a very organized ass raping of the whole world. right? Especially just regular people. Then we're going to create this whole delayed reaction of, remember, like we said yesterday, like, like you see ants in a farm, right? In a maze, right? And then they're just trying to find their way through. And the maze is designed in a way just to delay certain things from happening. Like they know that there's going to be proceedings, there's going to be an investigation. That was all factored in already. Yeah. Nothing is exciting. There's no exciting developments that are being made, that people are being made aware of.
Instantaneous. Yeah.
The exciting stuff, which is moving forward, and this, that it's happening just because the timeline is moving forward, and therefore it must, right? Logic dictates, and the Torah dictates based on the calendar that things are happening. We just know it because of where we're located in the calendar, right? What year we're in and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there's no inkling of what is the actual real exciting stuff. Yeah. It's just, I feel foolish discussing headlines. Just
no, I know.
But people dying, that's real. Bombs falling on Sderot, that's real. But that's about it.
So here's the ultimate question, man. Here's the ultimate question. How do we get our fellow Torah, at the very least, because these are, to me, low-hanging fruit, you would think, or even just Jews, because there's some non-Torah observant Jews who I feel like are more ready to, get to a certain place than a lot of Torah observant Jews. That's what I've noticed. Whoever we encounter, how do we like, I don't know, man. To me, I mean, listen, a lot of it is also social, because I told you before, again, in not just in Miami, in New York also, like I'll go to some events or some dinners or wherever it is, and 95% of the people, or like most of the conversations that I'm having with people, I cannot sit through those conversations for longer than 2 minutes. And to be honest with you, man, this lady today asked me, after I sent her my photos and like my, I don't know, a blurb about myself, and she's trying to help me meet somebody or whatever it is. She asked me, how is it that I'm not married? It's impossible. And this, the usual shtick. And I almost wanted to tell her, well, because at this point, a lot of the ladies that I speak to, I feel like they are just, again, 2019 consciousness. I don't know. There's nothing. Не с кем говорить, as we say in Russian.
Right.
There's no one to talk to. So I don't know. I don't know. So like I can't turn off. I can't turn down my consciousness even if I tried.